It is another edition of the On the Mic podcast, and first time on the show, but I believe it's going to be very entertaining. I know he's got plenty to say. It was just announced he will be making his next fight with the PFL Europe. He is the one and only Lewis McGrillen. Lewis, thank you for joining me. First time talking to you. Little heat behind this matchup.
Yeah, I guess so, mate. Yeah, probably. I don't know. It's just the chaos in it. I'm just used to it.
Well, yeah, and obviously, when I was, contacted about doing this interview, I was told you were going to have plenty to say, and it makes me excited. I know there's a little history of bad blood. I know you both love going for the knockout. So, kind of take me through, where does this bad blood, for those that don't know, where does this bad blood come from?
so basically, before I was going to fight Wesley my last fight, he got offered to me to fight, and then negotiations got called. I signed the contract. I was ready to fight him, and then it turned out he wanted more money, or apparently, or some other things on the not in the spotlight, and he pulled out. And then I ended up getting another fight, and then etc. etc. And now I'm trying to get a fight in PFL in Newcastle. I've been struggling to get a fight for a few months, to be fair. And he messaged me. He messaged me on Instagram saying, "Accept the fight, you ginger cunt." They were his words, and I just put S&M, say no more, and I put, "Oh, and this time don't pull out the fight, will you?" Yeah, and then he went, "I'm not gonna pull out," and I'm just like, "Yeah, whatever, mate." So then PFL said it's all bad blood and stuff like that. I don't even know. I don't think he believes it's bad blood. I think he's just trying to get a fight. I think he's just trying to see my vulnerability as an advantage in it because I lost. But who cares? I'm going to smash his head in, and that's all I'm going to say.
Well,
Maybe.
hopefully that's
Maybe.
not all you're going to say. We got plenty more to
Nah,
talk about. You're taking on Matiss Zaharovs at PFL Europe on Saturday, June 8th. And, one thing, especially in Europe, PFL has established themselves to be finding the home for the next star, right? You've seen it time and time again. And obviously, if you look at the global side of PFL, if you look at the Bellator side of PFL, they're making waves. How much of what PFL and Bellator are doing has you interested in staying focused on what they're doing and how it could help in your career?
I think it's a great. I think because not because it's just like a big show, but the building me up as well because I'm young, man. I'm like people forget how young I am and stuff like that, and like my career is only just starting, and I need to. I know this, and I just feel like the people behind PFL and stuff like that, and like Eduardo and things like that, they see something in me, and I feel like they're giving me that platform and they're giving me that chance to actually show who Lewis McGrillen is. At the end of the day, like I feel like the PFL and Bellator is just it's a great platform, and I feel like it's changing the game of MMA. End of the day, and I feel like I love it, me. I love where I'm at right now, and I get great fights ahead of me, and the future's bright for me.
It is definitely bright for you. I want to talk to you about that. Well, I'll have more questions on the fight in PFL in a moment, but you are super young, 23 years old, and this is a sport. I'm coming off of this past week, Max Holloway was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he talked about like fans have watched him grow up. So coming into the Justin Gaethje fight, they're like, "Wow, like Max is old," and he's like, "I'm like 32." Like what? Like it's because he was fighting at 20 years old, and he was fighting the best of the best. Now MMA has evolved in such a way to give you a platform at 23 years old where, you're approaching, you're already got 8 wins, but you're approaching double digits at just 23 years old. Why is it important for fans to take notice now of not just you, but all fighters at your age? Because 7 years from now, I mean, when you're 30 years old, you're going to have two whole careers behind you, basically.
Yeah, it's because we're the future. End of the day, like, and I'm not being funny, right? I don't want to blow too much smoke up my ass in a way, but like, what people haven't seen a highlight reel what I've brought to the table. I have the punishment of God in this hand sometimes. You know what I mean? And that's what I bring into the table. And like, people like to see fights. People like to see knockouts, and I'm that guy that brings that. I'm that kid that brings that, if you want to say it like that. And I feel like the future's only bright for me. End of the day, I'm still starting my career. I've still got development I've still got loads of development to need to do in my game, and I'm just taking it baby steps in a way. So like these events I'm having on the PFL and Bellator and stuff like that is going to build me to these build me to the bigger events and the bigger opportunities I'm going to have in the future with PFL and Bellator. And I feel like the future I have now, I don't want to think about it too much in a way because I've got Matiss in front of me and stuff like that. But you definitely need to take notice for like what's gonna come. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And with that being said, credit to you for not thinking too far ahead, but also how does that conversation go with your coaches, within yourself to say, all right, I am one of the best prospects in this sport, especially on the Europe side. I am rising. My career, ideally, anyone's career could take off after one highlight reel, after one big fight. You continue to have those highlight reel finishes. So where does that kind of maturation and understanding of, all right, I don't have to become a superstar overnight, but if I stick to the game plan, I'm going to be one of the biggest stars in the world?
I don't know. I don't really think too ahead of being trying to become a superstar. Do you know what it is? I'm just being me. If you know what I mean, I am who I am. You know what I mean, I'm just like I'm going in there. When I fight, I'm just fighting with bad intentions. I'm fighting with war, man. I swear down, like, and I feel like the results come through it just how I am and how I fight. Some people don't like the way I am sometimes, and that's cool. But I guarantee if you met me in person and stuff like that, you probably think I'm a cool guy. Do you know what I mean? But like, anyway, my art of war is this way, how I think and stuff like my personality. I'm just being my authentic self, or should I say, unapologetically me. So, like, end of the day, yeah, in the future, people might like me. Some people do. Do you know what I mean? People love me over here. People love like who I am and stuff like. Then you get the odd like Instagram hater, which I'm not too keen. I'm not too bothered about. To be fair, I'm not care about NPCs with a fake account. User 3,300 who don't like me because I'm fighting and I'm talking, but I'm living my life and doing my thing. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. How much of knowing who you are, this kind of goes into PFL, but I'll ask about you first. How much of being yourself helps you feel free as a fighter? Meaning, we've seen the likes of the biggest name in the sport, Conor McGregor, was unapologetically himself all throughout his young career and to this day. And we've seen what that does. I can name several other fighters who have unapologetically been themselves. So, what is it about you where you know who you are, you know the kind of fighter you are, and it gives you a sense of freedom to say, I don't really care what anyone thinks except my coaches and my peers, and I'm just going to stick to being me, and I don't really care about anything else?
I think I just got to that point where I think everyone's at one point in their life is a little bit like, oh, should it be like this, should that? But now I've got to this point now where I'm like, I don't even care, man, what you think. Do you know what I mean? I'm just doing me. If you don't like it, so what? People love it as well. Do you know what I mean? Because I get about, yeah. May talk a bit of smack in someone's face, bro. I'm about to have a fight with this guy, yeah. It's war. He's looking eyeing me up, thinking he's having these thoughts in his head. Oh, I should hope he has these thoughts in his head that he wants to kill me, because I'm thinking that. I'm totally thinking that. I'm eyeing them up, and I'm thinking totally all these thoughts because it's a fight. In the day, right? It's war, and I'm just being me, and like even my personality off it when I'm like going out doing my own thing, and like people like I'm just being the boyo, I guess. I'm just a kid from a council estate of Manchester, and people do like that as well. Like where I'm from, like I'm just part of like the lower class society of Manchester. Do you know what I mean? I'm a little scally from Manchester, I like to call. Do you know what I mean?
Well, listen, you said those who met you in person would think you're a cool guy. First time talking to you, I know you're a cool guy, and I also know you're an exciting fighter, and I can't wait for you to get in there. Going off of that, though, there's a lot to be said about fighters and people in general who go through trials and tribulations. I know I didn't grow up in a white picket fence, and nothing was ever handed to me, and I don't have 6 zeros in my bank account. Excuse me. But when you look at the organization that you're in the PFL, and I asked Brendan Loughnane this right before his fight in Chicago, and it kind of resonated with a lot of people. The PFL and Bellator, for that sake, outside of the UFC, it seems to be that promotion where you can just come in and do your thing. They'll take care of the promoting side. They'll take care of the social media side. They just want you to come in and be yourself. You don't have to fit this certain identity. You can be someone from Manchester who likes to talk and loves to fight, and they just let you be you. How much freedom and happiness does that give you as a fighter to say, at 23 years old, I don't have to worry about getting followers or getting clicks. I just go be myself, and the promotion can take care of everything else?
100%. I just feel like I I look at it this way, like so in a way, I felt like I always accidentally went viral a few times, just like knocking people out, and like even like a few like this was years ago, right? I knocked out this guy, and I grabbed his leg. You've probably seen it, and I hit him, and he flipped. I knocked him out, and now I have in other like other platforms like ESPN MMA sharing it and stuff like that. And I'm like, that was like 2 years ago, but it pops up again. It's like a season now and then. The season comes back round of viralness, and I'm like, oh, I'm accidentally just knocking someone out. I'm accidentally jumping over a cage, and I'm probably talking a bit of smack. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, people like that, but I'm just being me. And then PFL are promoting it when I'm there, like just going around being yourself, turning up to have a straightener, and I'm just looking at like I don't, it's like accidental, but maybe it's just all falling into the domino effect. What's coming for me in the future as well? If this is how it is now, imagine what it's going to be like in the future as well. But do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, with that, I would say it's not accidental. It's exactly like you. It's authentic, right? It just happens.
Yeah,
It just happens over time. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I have a few more questions here for you.
yeah.
The big one, you know, you talking about your roots and where you're from and all that. Obviously, fans of combat sports know about the UK, but how much of being 23 years old and seeing those who are doing it right now and those who have come before you, the legendary fighters from the UK, how much have they influenced you, and what does it mean to you to be from Manchester and doing what you're doing at such a young age?
Or it's sick, man, because I feel like I'm the next young dog coming up in a way. I'm the next young one. Like when I go around Manchester and people noticing me now, and I'm like, it's just crazy, man. How life works. Like 2 years ago, I was getting kicked out of like my mum's house. I had nowhere to stay constantly. I was sofa surfing, and I was just chasing that dream. That dream. What doesn't like you're delusional. You're delusional thinking that, and I'm like, all right, I'll prove it, mate. Watch this. I'll prove it, and I proved it, and I'm like, and I'm there like it's like I'm like earning it a little bit, and I feel like you even not even just MMA. You have boxers like your Ricky Hattons and stuff like. Have you ever heard of Ricky Hatton? And like, I'm just the next young Manchester lad coming up. Like, and it's kind of weird because he's just like, how does this work? Am I living in a simulation or what? You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this. What kept you going then? Like you said, just 2 years ago, getting kicked out, couch surfing. There's so many people who at that time you would have been 21. At 21, you'd have been like, I'm getting kicked out. I believe in myself. I believe I can go do great things. But some people would go into that panic mode of, I've got nowhere to live. I've got nowhere to sleep. I got to go figure this out. I love my dream, but I got to go do something else. You did it the opposite. You said, watch me. I'm going to go do it. How did you get through that? Because I think you could probably help a lot of people, whether they want to be fighters or not. Maybe
Yeah.
they are getting broken up within their relationship, getting kicked out of their house because they want to pursue a dream or because other things are happening, but they don't shy away from their dream like you, or they don't want to. How did you pull through that?
Do you know what? Right, I've had a lot of stuff like a lot of shit happen in my life when I think about it. Even from like being a young age, even all I've been getting kicked out for years. Like when I was younger, from like 15 and stuff like that. And do you know what? Every time I was hurt, I was angry. I used that as fuel. I swear to God, that's one of the reasons why I've always been a bit of a madman because I'm like I'm fuming, me. I'm feeling some like fire there right now. I'm gonna take it out on him. How I'm feeling when I knock someone out. I think of pure hate. I think of pure hate when I'm doing it. You know what I mean? And I think of fighting. I'm thinking of like vicious intentions and stuff like that. And you can use your pain, you can use your anger, you can use that side, that horrible that side where you feel vulnerable, yeah, and use it to good great. It's for a better purpose. Because at the end of the day, yeah, it's easy to fall. It's easy to fall off, especially with round day, mate. You can fall off, started selling drugs. You could fall off, end up doing bad crime and stuff like that, and doing stupid stuff. You're not going out being stabbing someone. It's a common thing around here. It's like the new normal. And I feel like instead of doing that, put your pain into your work, man. And I swear to God, it's all end of the day. Like I was too stubborn. I was too stubborn to let it go because I was just so obsessed with fighting. Because the only time I ever felt happy when I was fighting. The only time I ever felt happy when I was in the gym. So why not? I'll just do that. Do you know what I mean? Even ignore all the limelight. Just focus on the dream. Do you know what I mean?
Lewis McGrillen, you have me ready to run through a wall right now. And I hope that is one of I've been doing this podcast for many years, and I think that's one of the best answers I've ever received. So I thank you for that. Let's
Well,
get let's get back to this here. So when you take on Matiss in Saturday, June 8th, what should we expect? We know how quickly these finishes come from you.
Yeah.
What should we expect?
You're back. The return of the McGrizzle is back, yeah. We're back to the all good old ultra violence. The punishment of God is coming, mate. That's what I'm saying. And I just can't wait. I just can't wait to show the levels. I'm back. I'm back.
We talked about bad blood, but when you're able to finally go in and bury this, right? When you get this fight done, what's next?
Oh, who knows? I know I want a certain someone after me fight who I fought in December, but right now I'm focused on Matiss. He's my target right now. I don't want to focus on any other fresh blood. But I'm focused on the new blood coming up right now. So that's all I'm thinking of, Matiss, yeah.
Well, that means everyone's going to have to tune in on June 8th when you take on Matiss Zaharovs. Real quick before I let you go, we've talked about short term and staying focused, right? But at 23 years old, you've been with PFL in the past. You're with PFL again. Where do we go at 25? Where do you see yourself 2 years from now?
I can't see the future right now. To be fair, I'm just focused.
I love that actually. I love that answer actually.
I can't. Do you know what I mean? Because I've got big things with PFL right now in Bellator, but right now I can see my year. I'm gonna fighting him, and then focus on the next guy who I want. But I don't want to deep it too much because anything can happen. But I'm focused on Matiss right now. That's all my focus is right now. Yeah.
Do you feel this fight gets into the second round? Let me ask you that.
Nah, not really. And if he does, he's not going to be well. He'll be contemplating his life in the corner. Do you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying on that one.
Anything else you think fans should know about you? Anything that has gotten you to this point? I've enjoyed talking to you, man. This has been great. What should fans let me ask you this? What should fans know about who you are? We're gonna see what you do inside the PFL cage. We all know that. You opened up to me, and I appreciate you doing so. But what should we know about one of Europe's best prospects at such a young age?
I'm just one of the youngest lads coming up from UK, from Manchester, and I'm different with it. I bring it different. People have not seen what I bring to the table. I have the punishment of God in my hands, man. I swear down. I bring bad intentions. I can hit anyone. Yeah, I can knock out a cow. I'm saying that, mate. I can knock out a cow, then gut it, and then eat it and steak in me kitchen.
Well, I want to get invited over for that one. Lewis
know.
MCG MMA 2000 on Instagram. Thank you so much for the time, man. All the best. Hopefully we could chat after your fight. I cannot wait. Saturday, June 8th, PFL Europe. It goes down. Thank you so much. All the best to you. Really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you, mate. God bless you. Have a good day.
Thank you.